Hi. Um, okay, welcome. Just waiting for people to come in. All right. Welcome. Yeah, today we're gonna talk about our youth. You know, let's see. Um, Africa cannot go on the way it is going. But the only way we're going to be able to change what's the status quo is when we start building a better youth. The young people of today, they're going to be the ones that are going to actually shape Africa to become competent. AM, is this live? Yes, it is live. It is live, yes. Yeah, it is live. Where are you now at the moment? Let's hear where you from. Yeah, but this is live indeed. Tell us where you watching from and what's the time there. Just want to know because now I think people are busy with a long weekend. Yeah, we tomorrow is a holiday. I'm glad to catch you live. Thank you very much, Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, there's plenty of people coming from Atlanta. Most of the times when I'm live, most of the people they are from Atlanta. Yeah, tell me if you can see me clearly and you can also hear me loud and clear. Okay, it's 2:40 p.m. So are you still at work now, or you just knocked off from work today? And is it already on Easter, or is it um, because you are ahead of us? I think um, Miami, Florida, 2 p.m. Greetings. Welcome to our live session. I had to get some lights now so that I should be improving my live sessions. Very soon, I'm gonna have a very good background. Also, we'll improve with the cameras. Just to make it more professional. But I really appreciate you coming to watch and have a chat with me, discussing about life and trying to see ways that we can improve ourselves and to make our lives better in Africa. Um, AM says, I'm off today. Yes, can see and hear you clearly. Thank you very much. Timvani Vnene, good evening from Maramulele, South Africa. Mzanzi for sure. Welcome, Timvani from Mzanzi. How is South Africa now at the moment? Is it? I saw that there was a lot of rains there in South Africa. Has it stopped now? How is everything? Because in KwaZulu Natal, I saw that there was a lot of floods there. Yeah, it was very sad, bad to see what was going on there. TNT Caribbean, yes, Caribbean, all the way from the Caribbean islands. That's great. Your work and message is incredible. I'll be assisting you. So please. I think sometimes also maybe we can try to do this live session, like maybe two of us or three people live, and we have a panel, we discuss, and then it will be great. Maybe this is going to grow into something like that, but it's a pan-African uh, live session, so we should be talking about how we can improve our African life and how we can shape a better future. We can't keep on being the way we are. We can't keep on waiting for politicians. We have to do things ourselves. We have to find out, what can we do to better ourselves? How can we empower one another? There's so many skilled people. You've just seen today I shared these two guys who are playing music. You can see how talented those guys are. In Africa, we got lots of people who are talented. So if we can work together, we can see how we can harness that talent for the betterment of our future. our children's future has to be much, much better. We should leave a much more better platform for our children so that they can be competent with all the other continents of the world. All right. Zathfo says Shell Army is from Trinidad and Tobago. Oh, okay. Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, that's very nice. Trinidad and Tobago. I would like one day to be to visit those islands. I think I've seen one of YouTuber Ayamaro was there in Trinidad. I think so, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I would like to visit those islands, the Caribbean, because it looks like Caribbean. If you are in the Caribbean, you are just like you are in Africa. Jay Ruiz says peace and blessing from Brooklyn. Brooklyn, yeah. Yeah, Brooklyn, yeah, all the time. Thank you very much for coming to and visit us and watching our live session. Today we wanted to chat and see, are we building better youth who are going to be better leaders in the future? Sometimes it worries me when I see the young people. Sometimes there's plenty of them opportunities that they can grasp now, but they're failing to grasp those opportunities. So I think that we are actually failing to actually mentor them or to be role models so that they can be able to, see the opportunities and always jump on the opportunities. We shouldn't be, because there's a lot of potential in Africa. Everybody shouldn't be just waiting to get a job and get employed. We should be having the courage to start something for ourselves. We need to have a lot of startups in Africa. Yes. Yeah, so that's what we need. In Africa, we need. Please don't forget to like. If it's your first time, please don't forget to subscribe. And also, please share this session to others so that they can see us. I forgot to actually share this session. I should have shared it so that other people can also be able to see. Yeah, but anyway, and I'm sure some people will still be coming in. Yeah, tomorrow is a holiday, so yeah, everybody is just, some people are traveling to get home so that they can have a nice long weekend. I hope that you're going to look after yourself over the whole the weekend, and don't drink and drive. Just drink responsibly. Yeah. As for me, I sit here with my wife. We take a glass of wine. We don't go anywhere. We are building our place so that it becomes so accommodating for us, so that we can spend most of our times at home. We don't have to go out quite often. Yeah. So yeah, that's what we wanted to discuss today. Things have been changing. A lot of things have changed. The way we were raised ourselves is not the same as the way our children were raised. Even when we used to go to school, our schooling system that time is totally different from today's school system. And we were told that it's our like most of the way we were raised ourselves, it was not good. I see a lot of changes have been made, and there was discipline during our days. Nowadays, there's no more discipline in schools. I hear sometimes my daughter tells me how the kids, they respond to their teachers. When the teacher tells them, please stop doing that, and the child will ask the teacher, so if I keep on doing, what are you going to do to me? During our time, we were not allowed to talk back to our teachers. We were very well disciplined people. And I think the discipline helped us, because today we can be able to discipline ourselves. I can be able, when I want to do something, I discipline myself. If I want to save money to achieve something, you need discipline. But then you find that most of the young people, they're failing to control themselves, to be disciplined, to discipline themselves whenever they want to, set goals to achieve their goals, and they're struggling. And I think it's because of the way things have changed. Things have changed so much that even like for me, the way I would discipline my children is not the same way that we were disciplined when we were young. Today, you just have to talk to them, and you don't have to, you have to be very careful how you are going to be talking to your children, how you're going to discipline your children. Yeah, it's good that the children, they have to have a free spirit, but they need to be able to know that there's lines that you cannot cross in life. You have got lines that you cannot cross. If you don't understand that, it's very, very difficult. I see here at my yard. um, I try to make my yard look beautiful. Even outside my yard, I want to put stuff that are beautiful to make the whole area look beautiful. But we find that small kids of 7 years of age, 9 years of age, they come and if you plant some plants, they come and pull them off. The next time we find everything is pulled off. Even signage, I want to put some signage outside my fence, like so that people can know this is block 929, this is Gizmo machines. But I'm afraid because I know I put them on the next day when I wake up, I'll find them, those signage has been pulled off. And the ones who are going to pull off is the young people. They are like 9 years, 10 years, 12 years. You know, the children, they lacking discipline. So if a 9-year-old child cannot respect somebody else's property, when they grow up, then it's very difficult for them to understand that, you have to respect other people, because people have got boundaries. Every person has got boundaries. So we have to respect those boundaries and see that, okay, there's a line that you cannot go beyond. But unfortunately, when these young people grow up, they grow up to being very rude, and they are always against the law, and they don't respect rules and all those kind of things. So this is making it very difficult, because nowadays for anybody to find young people who have got good manners, who have got integrity, it's very, very difficult to find them. And this is very sad, because then where is Africa going? What kind of a continent Africa is going to be? And at the end of the day, they will be blaming us and saying, no, we never raised them well, and all those kind of things. So what is it that we are doing right? And what is it that we're doing wrong to raise our children? Yeah, yeah, they need structure mentoring. That's what it says. We got the Ken whip and it worked. Yes, I remember when we were when I was young at school, and even if you fail, you write exams and you fail, we were given punishment. We were told, we used to knock off sometimes 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Then the teacher would tell us that we knock off at 5 o'clock. So you sit in the class and you must read. 5 o'clock you're leaving. So every time you write exams, you made sure that you don't want to get punished. If you came to school late, you were punished. They used to whip us when we were making noise in class. They would appoint somebody who was going to be a monitor in class. You write names of people who are making noises, and then you get a whip if you are making noise in class. But today that cannot happen. A teacher cannot do something like that. But now, how do you teach young people discipline? Because I don't know what other way you can be able to. If you don't do it that way, how are you going to be able to discipline your children? So it's very tough nowadays. It's very difficult that we don't even know what type of leaders we're creating for the future. And I always tell my daughter, I said, the mind is the most important thing it's the most important thing that God has ever gave you. Because if you don't look after your mind, then you don't have a good future. I tell my daughter that. I tell her that don't mingle with the wrong kids. Don't start smoking. The young kids today, they smoking chamba, they smoke marijuana. Don't smoke those things. Don't start drinking, because when you are young, your brain is still young. So if you start polluting your brain with those kind of things, by the time you reach 20 years, your brain is messed up. Because between when you are a teenager, your brain is still developing. So you need to look after it. And I always tell her that. I say to her, if you mess your brain up, in the future, you'll be doing something wrong. You won't even know that you're doing something wrong. When people tell you that this what you're doing is wrong, you will even be surprised to say, why are they telling me that this is wrong? Because I believe that what I'm doing is the right thing. You see, so that's the problem. The young people, they are too early starting to get things that intoxicates their brains, and then at the same time they're messing up the brain, because the brain is still at the developing stage. You see what I mean? So Learning a skill or trend is very important on class with self-development is important. Yes, like when we were young in our schools, in the primary school, we had what they call handwork. That was for the guys, and the girls had what they call needlework. So they would tell us, the teacher would tell us that okay, this month on handwork you will be doing, maybe you make a wooden spoon. Uh, so everybody must make wooden spoon, or everybody must make wooden fork. So we were forced to go and cut a tree somewhere or look for a plank so that we make a wooden fork or wooden spoon. Even when we were in the lower classes, they would tell us we must go and look for clay, and we make little animals with things like that. And the teacher would check who has done the best and all those things. And that was actually helping us to stimulate our brain so that we should start thinking at a very early stage. When you go to these schools today, there's nothing they're doing. The students, they just sit in a class after doing a subject. After that, there's nothing else. Even some schools, there's no sports at all. They don't even have sports. We used to have sports, and we used to call it PE, physical education. But nowadays, they're just sitting and doing nothing. So their brains are not being stimulated, and then their brains are not being active. So when they grow, an opportunity will be standing in front of them. They won't even know how to tackle that opportunity, how to grab that opportunity. They won't even know. Yeah, so mentor and programs work, or a mastermind, it could be in a house or community center. Yes. So we need to see how are we going to be mentoring these young people, so that they can, like for me, when I finish my workshop, I want to upstairs on the other side, I want to have a nice big desk, so where we will be doing Internet of Things. So I've already collected some of the basic materials for Internet of Things. And then I also want to take all my books and have a library there. I will be allowing the young people to come here over the weekend. They can come as long as they're not taking my books away. If they want to sit in there to read, they can sit and read. And if also they want to work with the Internet of Things, like Arduinos and all those kind of things, I will allow them to do that. So that the young people must learn to being creative. Try to create. We think that those things must be started at the university. By the time you reach university, your creativity is starting to slide down already. Dave Bachu says Africa is a rich continent, but the people are poor, cannot even support their own family. No offense. Now, the thing is, the poverty is coming because of people not being empowered and people not being exposed. That's why you have that poverty. So we should start, as our generation should start sharing the knowledge that we have and trying to empower the young people so that they get exposed. When you get exposure at a very young age, it actually helps a lot, because some of us, we're getting the exposure at a much, much older age. Like for me, the things that I'm doing here at my workshop is things that I've learned, I think, over when I reached 40, that's when I started being serious with what I'm doing. And then my brain just opened. And sometimes when I sit, I talk to my wife and I say, I wish I knew what I wish I knew what I know today when I was in the early 25s or 30. I wish I left South Africa much younger, at the age of 35, and came back to Malawi to start what I'm doing. I don't know where I would have been today. I would be very, very far. So the young people, they don't realize that they should start at a young age. I was just today speaking with my daughter. I said to her, she's now in Form 3. Next year, she's finishing Form 4. She's supposed to be going to university. Okay, we will not allow her to go to university at the age of 16. So what we're going to do is we're going to make her work with us in our workshop for maybe to learn some of the works for almost like a year or two. And then she's going to go to university. But I told her, I said, most of the young people, they want to have fun now. They want to enjoy. They want to have fun. But I said to her, the best time to ever have fun is when you have grown up already. You will finish your school. You have gone to university. You finish, you start working. And that's when you should start. That's when you start enjoying yourself. Because, for instance, there are young people, who want to enjoy now. They're having their fun. They drop out from, they finish high school, then they don't want to go to university. They don't want to study further. They just want to have fun sitting at the tavern, drinking, while their friends are continuing with education, going to university and studying further. So by the time they reach the age of maybe 35 towards 40, their friends have finished. They've now got good jobs. But now you who was having fun when your friends were going to school, now you find out that you can't get a good job. You are now an adult. People are no longer seeing you as a young person. You're a big person. Now you'll be struggling, walking up and down, begging, while your friends are now building their families, living in better houses, driving in better cars, and but just because you wanted to have fun when you were young. So I always tell them that the best time to have fun is when you are at my age. I said to my daughter, I don't want you to reach my age and be working the way I'm working. So because I'm working hard, you shouldn't be working hard at my age. When you are 50, you should be saying to yourself, I worked enough. This is time for me to relax. This time I should be traveling. I should be traveling all over the world. I shouldn't be working so hard like the way I'm working. I should have been traveling all over the world. So if I had the opportunity when I was young to be able to get the exposure, to have parents who can support me, because at that time our parents couldn't manage to support us. I am able to support my children now. So their future should be a better future than my future, my present that I'm living today. So when my children are the same age as me, they're supposed to be already sorted out, already I'm busy building the foundation for them. Then all that I have to do is just continue grow it, so that the generation after generation after generation must continue and never struggle anymore. Most of the Western people who are wealthy today, their forefathers had to work hard. They were very poor. They struggled. And at the end of the day, they built their wealth and they're passing it over generation after generation. And each generation is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That's how we're supposed to be here in Africa. Shell MSA, learning to build is essential for structure. So learning a trend is good. Yes, it's very, very good. Hunting and fishing, house car repairs. Yes, you're not working hard, King Ted. You're working smart. I know I'm working smart. I know that I'm working smart. That you see, the thing is, when I was in South Africa, I had good jobs, but it was very difficult for me to build my future, because life there is very the cost of living is very high. I had a good job. I had a company car. I had cell phone allowance and a good salary. But every time when I get paid, by the time it comes to the next month on the 15th, I've got no money, because most of the money has gone into school fees, has gone into transport, is going to be rent and other stuff. So it was very tough. But now, when I came here, the platform is very, very different. Unlike that side in South Africa, for you to buy a house, to buy land, it's very expensive. But you come to Malawi, buying land, building a house is not a difficult thing. So I'm working smart at the moment, really, because what I've done is I've come up with a plan to say, okay, I want, when I reach 60, I must retire, because my goal when I was in South Africa was to retire at 50, and I failed to do it, because when I came back to Malawi, I was just over 40, age of 40s now. But now I had to start from scratch, and starting from scratch meant that I had to build a place for me to stay. Then I had to start a company, and the company had to start from scratch with no funding, with little money that I had. I had saved, but also I had to reinvest. Every time I make sales in my business, I had to reinvest. But now I was saying to myself, I'm not going to make it to retire at 50. But now I still got a chance to retire at 60. That's why I don't go for entertainment. I sit here Monday to Sunday. I'm working every day. Tomorrow is a holiday. I'll be working, building my house, doing things at my house. I have no time for enjoying me. When we have a little bit of time, me and my wife will go out, and sometimes maybe we go to the lake, but it's not quite often, because we want to build our retirement now. and at 60, it means that I've got less than 7 years to do it. So that's why you see I'm busy with my house. I'm busy with the workshop. I bought land at in Blanta where I want to build some things for rent for people to rent in the future. I bought the cows at the home in Balaka, and when I go home, I'm just waiting now. The cow, if the cow has got a little calf, I'll make a trip to go there to see the calf. But also, I'm going to go there to sit down with my family to plan so that we start with farming. It's now harvesting time. People have harvested. We are going to start some farming there. So we want to do some vegetables that we'll be selling using irrigation farming. So this is what we're going to do. So all these things that I'm doing, there's been, when I share these things that I'm doing on Facebook, a lot of people have been saying, Ted, you are doing way too many things. I said, but you don't understand. You are saying that I'm doing too many things. The one who's saying that you are 35 years of age. Me, I am over 50 already. So I don't have time now. Maybe you got plenty of time, but me, I don't have time. So I have to do so many things that by the time I reach 60, I have 50 cows, I have maybe 10 houses or 20 houses for rent. My workshop is done, my house is done. Then I can say, okay, now I have to rest. I don't have to work so hard anymore because I know there's income coming from home in the village. There's income coming from my properties that I have coming in the workshop. So I don't have to be hustling anymore. If economy is bad, I still know that I still get my money. If I'm so old enough that I can't be able to move up and down, I have a source of income. So yeah, I am working smart. And also, when we say working smart, it's also saying that you are trying to do something with the minimum effort, so that like I always try when I want to do something, I don't want to work too hard. I want to work smart, so that whenever I want to achieve something, I must achieve it with minimum effort. So yeah, that's working smart. All right. Ted, Africa's poverty comes from being exploited by the West. The colonizers will still have a strong grip on the continent. Our leaders have to cut off ties with these people. They are not investors. Yeah, but I understand that. It's true. We have to ourselves now be able to understand and say, okay, what do we want to achieve in Africa? Sometimes I find it very difficult. For instance, like the way myself, with the business that I'm doing. We in Malawi, we have just introduced the use of cement blocks very, very recently. In the past, we have been using bent bricks for building our structures. So even if they're building government hospitals, schools, and all those things, they used to use bent bricks. Now we have got new product, which is cement blocks. And also, because of the coming of the cement blocks, there's been a lot of young people like myself, who are now making machines to make these cement blocks. There's now lots of welders who are doing this. Now, when we are serious as Africans to say we want to develop, the first thing that we should do is put policies in our government systems. We put a policy to say, okay, we are saying if you want to work for contract for our government projects, we want you to use cement blocks, but those cement blocks must be made by a local person. Must be the machines that are used to make the blocks must be made in Malawi. So the person who has got a contract with the government who wants to build a house will have to go and say, okay, I am making my blocks using a machine that I bought from Ted. And me as a manufacturer, when I manufacture the machine, I have to go through a process where I have to certify my machine with the Bureau of Standards and have a certificate. And then the copy of that certificate, that person is going to use that copy of certificate when he is applying for a tender with the government. So all the machines that must be used must be made local. By doing that, it means that there's going to be plenty of people who are going to be manufacturing the machines, because they now know that there's going to be a market. Because in Malawi, the biggest business that people get is when they're doing tenders for government. Like somebody is getting a tender to build a school, build a hospital, things like that. But now what's happening now is that the people who get the tenders, they don't use blocks made by local people like from us. They use blocks made by people from maybe the Chinese, made by the Chinese. And now these are the people who are getting empowered with these jobs that are being given by government. No government work in terms of tenders and all those things is supposed to be benefited by somebody who's from outside the country. It should be benefited by people who are local. People from outside must come to invest and create jobs in the country, not to take the jobs in the country. That's how it's supposed to be working. Even in South Africa, it's supposed to work like that. You know, all the tenders, people who are getting tenders, when they're doing like building projects, they should use things that are produced by the local person. You know, that way you're going to empower the people. It's the same thing when in government hospitals, there are people who get tender to supply food and whatsoever. It's supposed to be food grown by a person who is a local, so that you empower those people. That way, Africa is going to start moving forward. But the way we're doing it, I'm telling you, we'll keep on going on like this. Uh, uh, Everything that was done to our nation, it was all by design. Yes, it was by design, but now we need to break that design and bring up our own design. And the only way to do it is if we start to open up the minds of our children, our youth, because tomorrow they are going to be the leaders. So they should not inherit what we have already inherited. We have to help, because you and me are saying we are experiencing this because of that. So we know what is causing the whole thing. Why shouldn't we be able to break that and say, now, let's start doing it? And the way of doing it is not to wait for those people to stop coming here and manipulating us. The first thing is for us to start coming up with a system that will bring up change. By the time our children are taking over, we have changed everything. So, yeah, it's no longer the time that we should be blaming anybody. It's time that we should start changing things ourselves. Children in the global community, they need to learn the positive sides of our real history told by our people, and how to work with your own people. Doesn't matter where they're born or their ethnic. Yeah, that's true. Because what's happening now, we have got so many ethnicities in Africa. You know, even in a single country, you'll find that there's too many people from different races. And when we judge and we discriminate, we look at each other based on which tribe you come from, and if you are from this tribe, you find that, like in our country in Malawi, people will be making up some of their own prejudices by saying people of a certain tribe, they are like this, people of the certain tribe, they are like that tribe is like that. I don't believe in that thing. My behavior or my intelligence is not there because I come from a different tribe. It's the intelligence is there that because I open my mind to learn new things. It's not because I belong to a certain tribe. So, we should forget or stop, judging other people based on the tribe that they're coming from, or the color, or the country where they come from, or the continent where they come from. You should treat a person based on what type of a person he is. And that way, it means that life is not going to be easy. For instance, for me, I can employ a person of any tribe in my company. And when I take people, I don't even ask, what tribe are you from, or where are you coming from? I just want to know, what can you do when you come and work with me? That's all. Yeah, so that's how we should be looking at each other here in Africa. Heza says, that's true. Dev Bachu says, King Ted, no offense, one day we all will die and leave everything behind. We do not know when, but enjoy life daily. That's true. Like for me, I always tell my wife, I said, if I die today, I am so happy, because the thing is, when I reached the age of 40, I discovered what the meaning of life is. I discovered that life is not about being a rich person or being a billionaire or whatsoever. Life is about living a meaningful purpose. You have to have a purpose for your life. So if you have got a meaningful life, to say, okay, this is what I was designed to do, because each and every individual was designed differently. Some of the people were designed to be artistic, like the video I shared today, which was sharing the people who are playing music. You could see that those people have got passion in what they're doing. They were actually designed to be playing music. So if you find that purpose in your life, then what will happen is that immediately you're going to grow passion. Huh? Passion starts coming in, and then passion is like a fuel. It's a drive that pushes you to be able to live your meaning, to live the meaning of your life. That's what I'm trying to say. So you find that many people, and that's why I brought about this subject. Many people are failing to enjoy life as it is because they are not following their purpose, and it's sometimes designed by their parents. It's like when I was young, my father was very disappointed because I was not very good with mathematics, science subjects, and all those things, which meant that I cannot go to university and maybe get into a better university. Like in those days, if you went to university and you went to go to polytechnic, you were taken as like the cream de la cream of the class of that year, because it was only the high performers that were going to the polytechnic college. You had to be scoring very high in mathematics. You have to score very high in physical science, all the science subjects, mathematics, and all those things. There was even additional mathematics. That meant that if you were very bright enough, then you will go and study engineering. Now, I was not that bright, so my father was not happy. So you find that many young people in Africa, when a child is very bright in terms of science, mathematics, and all those things, the parents are going to say, because you're good at mathematics and science, I think you should go and apply to be a doctor. So you are going to be a doctor. I'm going to organize to get money for you to send you to India to study to be a doctor. But then in the meantime, this young child is always playing with the mechanic stuff and is maybe playing with cars and all that stuff. He wants to be a mechanic. But now the father says, no, you can't be a mechanic because the mechanic doesn't pay well. You must go and be a doctor. But now, if that boy or girl goes and studies to be a doctor, they don't have passion. They're not living they're not living a meaningful life. The thing is, they cannot be passionate about what they're doing. They're just doing it because it's a career. It's going to give them money. So most of the young people we are seeing today who are now like doctors, engineers, and all those kind of things, they are doing something. They're doing all those things because their parents say to them, this is what you're going to do, because you have to do this because it's a well-paying job. Like for myself, I see my daughter likes to do artistic stuff. She likes to dance. She likes to draw. She likes to, things that have got to do with art. Now I'm saying, I always tell her, what you should be doing in the future is something that is going to relate with your art, because you like to draw and you are very passionate about it. You can be an architect, because as an architect, you're going to do the drawing. You'll be drawing houses and doing all your art things that you want. So that way, if she goes in that field, she's going to enjoy it because that's already her purpose of life. She feels more passionate when she's doing that. So even if it's in the field of performing arts, it's okay, because now you're going to have passion for when you're doing those kind of things, because that's what you find meaning in your life. But that's why we are getting it wrong in Africa, because we want to be telling our children, this is what you're going to do. I see you like to do things that have got to do with your hands, but I believe that you have to be a doctor. As a parent, we're saying, you go and do those things. We are killing that creativity. And then at the end of the day, we are creating young youth that are not passionate about the work they're doing. You go to like the hospital, you see how the doctor is treating the people. Is not passionate at all. Even the nurses, sometimes they don't even treat the patients very well. You can see that there's no passion in what they're doing. They're doing it because they just wanted to have a job. So our children today, they shouldn't be in the future be doing something just because it's a job. They should be doing something because it's their purpose. They are living their purpose. Like for me, I'm living my purpose. I enjoy what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing. That's why you see I've got so much passion and a lot of zest or zeal. You know, nobody can tell me anything when it regards to what I'm doing at the moment. So I believe in what I'm doing. I trust myself, and I love what I'm doing, and I enjoy what I'm doing. So if many people could be in a position like I am, it will be a great thing for Africa, where you are doing something that you love and you enjoy. You know, I can do what I'm doing even without getting paid. I don't mind, because I love what I'm doing. All right. A King Ted for Malawi president. Yeah, because nowadays entrepreneurs are doing very well when they become president. So yeah, maybe one day, one of the days, it's gonna happen. Uh, J. Matt says cement blocks have a huge carbon impact. Have you considered rammed earth and building machines to make recycled plastic blocks? Yeah, those things are all in the mind. But what you should understand is that um, Malawi, if we compare it with so many countries, we are actually behind when it comes to technologies and innovations. So, for instance, we have been traditionally using the bent bricks. Now, uh, I can tell you that it was very difficult. It was one of the toughest challenges to twist the people to change from cement, from the bent bricks going to cement blocks. It was very, very difficult. So when we want to implement change in Africa, you have to do it step by step. I find it that it's better to implement change from the basics, you know, because if you say, for example, you just advance from people changing from bent bricks to cement blocks, and then you suddenly say, let's go to rammed F buildings, it's not going to work. You're not going to win. But you need to advance with the change gradually, you know, step by step. Right now, I see people able to they have embraced cement blocks. They have realized that the fears that they had were wrong. Is that cement blocks can actually, they are strong enough, they can build a house, and like, for instance, in, like, if you go to South Africa, they've been building cement blocks for many years. They built flats that they built a long time ago, and they're still standing. Now, once the people have come to understand and embrace this technology, it will be easier for us to introduce new technologies. So yeah, I understand when you talk about RAM F, it requires a lot of understanding. It requires a lot of knowledge, because if you go to the people and say, let's start building houses with RAM F technology, they are not going to accept it. You have to be able to explain, you have to be able to show them, and then the people are going to be able to embrace it. But otherwise, it will never happen. That's another thing that we are doing wrong in Africa. Yeah, we want to bring change, and when we bring change, we want to move from where we are straight to another advanced level, and it becomes very difficult for us to do that in Africa. We need to, like, gradually go step by step. It's like the way we have been educated. We have gone through our education system. You first had to pre-primary school, then you went to primary school, then you went to secondary school, then you went to university. You can't take somebody from primary school and take him straight to university. Then you are going to confuse those people. So if we want to bring about change in Africa, we need to take all the steps that are required for that change to happen. If we skip some of the stages, that's why we are struggling. We will never get it right. It's the same thing with the agricultural systems in Malawi. Malawi is actually an agricultural country. But the reason why we are struggling is because we want to move from our primitive way of farming that we are doing now to an advanced way of doing farming, which is going to be impossible. What we should be doing is we should be going to India, Thailand, and those countries in Asia, and say, okay, the people in the rural areas in Thailand or India, how are they doing their farming? They are still doing the primitive way of farming. But they are producing, India produces, is now going to replace Ukraine and Russia in terms of supplying wheat. But if you go there, you find that most of the farmers there, they're using the primitive ways of farming. They are making their own makeshift tractors, makeshift vehicles to do for the harvesting. They make them things themselves. We should be going there and learn from them and bring the technology here and see how can we improve this technology. It's primitive, but that's where we should start from. But if we want to say from using the hoe in Malawi to the tractor, to the Ferguson tractor, it will never happen. So we need to tackle change step by step by step by step. You see, so if we do it that way, it's much easier. If we want to teach our children to start thinking differently, we need to go layer by layer by layer. But if we just move from here to the top, it's not going to work. So yeah, RAMREF technology should come to Malawi, and it's coming. But first of all, let's finish this phase where we are, and then we can introduce new technologies. Hazel says the money going to their countries. And Shawami says, employ the local people, invest back in Africa. Yes, we have to employ our own people, teach them how to do the work. It's not easy. Like I said, or say right now that because most of the things that we're doing today is more advanced and the technology is much advanced, it is becoming very difficult for our young people or for them to grasp it very quickly. And then that's why we need to take steps by step by step by step when we want to implement change. Yeah, do what you love and love what you do. Yeah, exactly. You have to. That's the only secret, and many people don't understand that. They would rather do something just because they have to do it because somebody else is doing it. But you have to do something because you love it, and if you do it because you love it, you'll be doing with the best of your capability, with the maximum potential and the maximum passion. Because without passion, you will never be able to achieve anything. You have to fuel your success with passion. All right. Please don't forget to like and also subscribe. If it's the first time to watch our channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Yeah. Core basics are important. Yes, core basics. I like Elon Musk. He like to use, he calls that when he makes decisions or when he's coming with ideas, he uses first principle of thinking, something like that. It's called first principle thinking. He's like asking questions like, how is this thing supposed to be working? And if I do something like this, what results am I going to get? If I get those results, what am I going to do? And if I get those, first principle thinking, that's what Elon Musk uses. So that's the best way of solving problems, solving problems based on the outcomes from whatever you are going to do, what outcomes are going to come there, and how you're going to deal with those outcomes. All right, so Dave Batu says, may God bless Malawi. I know they used to make mud bricks and build house with that. Yes, most of the people in the village, they build with mud bricks. Yeah, and but now you see that people are now shifting from that. They're going to trying to use bent bricks and all those things. I remember there was a certain white lady, she was telling me here, she said, no, Ted, the people here should be using pit latrines. There's a special type of pit latrine where you can recycle the waste and then you can use it for manure and all those things. I said, but it's very difficult to tell people here to say that, no, don't go for flushing toilet. You must go for pit latrine. They will not accept it. They will not accept it. First of all, let them go and build their flush toilet. And once they have been used to it, then go back to the pit latrine that you're talking about. The people from the West, they want to use pit latrines because they've been used to the flush toilet and then they got used to it. They want to go back to the system of recycling the waste. And it's very difficult to tell somebody in the city of Lilongwe that, no, build your toilet, you must be the one that you recycle. They will not be able to take that one. Yeah. step by step development, gradual. Yes, we have to take, go step by step. Even like for myself, my business, I've grown it that way. I started making the manual machine, and then little by little I advanced to the mechanic. Now I'm trying to do agriculture, and I will keep on advancing like that and growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, one of these days we will be full-fledged manufacturing here at the Block 929. Uh, Dave Bashu says, I agree. So drop the link. Which link is that? Is it a block? Can you make energy? Can you make? I don't know whether I can make energy, but at the moment, in my workshop, I'm running it on generator. The generator that I put up together myself. I bought an engine and alternator. I put up together, and I've been running these things for since 2015. So I don't use grid. I use my own power energy that I'm producing through the generator that I put up together. Right now, we are also advancing to solar now. So I will never use the grid. And many people were thinking I'm crazy, but now here it is happening. If you say you will do something and you believe, you are going to achieve it and it will happen. So I always told the people, my house is not going to use the grid. So since I've been here at this premises, I've never used the grid. I've been using my own energy that I'm producing on the site. Can you build a pyramid? Maybe I can build a pyramid. You never know. Yeah. Paul Hawkins says reverse engineering. That's how China is doing it. Then it's selling it for less. Yes, that we have to go that side. I see I'm always watching these guys in Thailand, Philippines, India, China. The rural people, people who are farming in the villages. I love to watch them how they're doing it, and these people are very simplistic. They will do the most simplistic way of farming, and it does work. And I always say, why are we not doing that here in Africa? Because if you look at, for example, I don't want to give an example, that Egypt, the ancient Egypt was even much richer than Malawi is today in terms of, say, agriculture. Yeah, they were farming up to a point that people came from all over the world, parts of the world, to come and buy food in Egypt. But that was in ancient times. But why are we failing to beat those people? Like to do farming here in the modern Malawi, in the modern day of Malawi, we are failing to come up with technology that will help us for farming so that we can be even producing food better than those people that did in those ancient days. So I always say, if we want to improve our farming systems, because we are not using commercial farmers, we're using peasant farmers. Why don't we look at, say, okay, let's look at how they did it in Egypt when they were doing their irrigation. How did they irrigate their farms? Okay, India, they're also still using those primitive farming methods. How are they doing it? Why don't we take some of our farmers, let them go to Thailand to learn how to do this type of farming? Because it needs to start from somewhere. If they do that type of farming, they will have bumper harvest. When they have bumper harvest, they'll make a lot of money. Then they will be able to buy tractors. Then they will leave those primitive ways of doing things and start using the modern way of doing things. That's how I look at. That's how I think. First principle thinking. Elon Musk has taught me that. Wow, King Ted, you are so wise. I think so, but it's things that I'm learning through reading books, and also I watch a lot of people who are doing, like they're sharing the knowledge. So I watch a lot from YouTube. So I'm learning all the time. So all the time I'm learning to think of. I always want to learn how are people doing, like the manufacturing that I'm doing in my workshop. I'm always doing homework to see how does somebody do it in the United States who has got a premises like mine. How does somebody do it in Japan? How is somebody doing it in China? Then I look at this and I say, which method can I adapt to? And then I adapt the method and then I try to improve it myself. That's how I look at things. First principle thinking. If you can search on YouTube for first principle thinking, you'll see that what type of thinking I'm talking about. Have you ever thought about using wind energy to create? Yes, I've thought about it. I have got a few dynamos, a few motors, DC motors. I would like to build one wind generator. I even have got a windmill that I was using, designed for pumping water. But now I want to design a windmill so that at night I can be generating energy. But on my side, it's during the rainy seasons that we get a lot of winds. But right now we don't get too much winds. Can you explain what does your generator look like? Okay, my generator, I bought those. I don't know if you know the AMEC engine. You see that young man who came to fix the engine at my place? That engine, I take that engine and then I put an alternator. Um, these alternators are made from China. They come with different power. You get the 6 kilowatts alternator, you get a 15 kilowatts alternator, you get a 24 kilowatts alternator. The alternator that I'm using now at the moment is a 15 kilowatts alternator. So you take this engine, you take the alternator, and you join them with a belt. That's all. It's not like rocket science. So it produces about 15 kilowatts of power, and I'm using the engine is a 24 horsepower engine. So I use that to generate electricity, and it gives me enough power to run 4 welding machines, one grinder, and even the drilling machine. So we don't have any problems. We're using something like 10 liters of diesel per day. Yeah. Uh, have you ever thought about using water to create electricity? Yes, but now you need to have consistent flow of water. So where I'm staying now, there is no water flowing, and even in my home village, the river, it just runs now during the rain season. But after the rain season has stopped now, in the next 2 3 months, the water is going to stop running anymore. So it's very difficult for me to generate electricity using water because there is no river source nearby. Have you ever thought about using steam energy to power some of your equipment? Ah, I've never really gone to that site to use steam. But yeah, we can do some. But I've thought of using biogas. So my septic tank that I'm busy with now, I want it to be producing gas. So that gas I can use it for cooking, and I understand I can also use it to run my generator. So yeah, I have thought of using biogas as a form of energy. Uh, Snoga says, do you have the copper and the carbon to create your own alternator? No, we don't have those things here in Malawi. Very difficult to find that copper. Do you have any boreholes? I have a well in my yard. I don't use water from the water board. I use water from my well for all the washing and all those kind of things. So yes, and I'm trying to design a drilling rig so that I drill a well in my yard so that I can be pumping water and use it for my house. I won't use water from the board. I don't want to use electricity from the grid. I want to have my own water and want to have my own electricity on my premises. A septic tank creates methane. Yes, that's what I want to do. I want to be producing that methane and purify it, and I can use it for cooking. Dave Batch said, King Ted, what's the biggest problem in Malawi now? The economy is the problem. Prices of things are just going high, and that's very, very terrible. It's making a lot of companies close, and people are losing jobs. Even myself, for the past 2 months, it was very tough, but I'm starting to get better because people are starting to build again. And also, I'm going to be tomorrow there with the guys who is trying to see if we can start making the agriculture products equipment. We're going to make a men's sheller, a men's sheller, and also one for soya, things like that. And that for me, because I'm doing these things, it is much better. I can cushion this period because People are harvesting. They will be busy harvesting now, but the economy, yeah, is very bad. Other than the economy, everything else is good in Malawi. It has never been ever been better than what it is now, but it's just that the economy is struggling. Yeah, who is that? Tamara. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's the only problem that we're facing now. We have had good rains. People have grown their crops, and they will be harvesting very soon. So it's just the economy. Just last week, the price of fuel went high. So we are buying, we are paying, we are coughing more for fuel now, which is not good. How do you purify methane? You produce the methane from the septic tank, and that gas comes, and then you take your pipe, you dip it into some water, you put it in a bottle, and you put a pipe through the bottle, and it goes into some water, and then from there, when it bubbles, when the methane goes into the water, and it will come out again out of the water as in the form of bubbles, and those impurities will stay in the water. It's only pure methane that's going to come out, and then you continue with the flow of that methane to your source where you're going to be cooking and other stuff what you're doing. So that's how they purify the methane. They use water to purify it. How do you prefer? Can you depend on a borehole to water the farm crops up to 5 acres? Yes, we got lots of water in Malawi. So we do get farms that are drilling boreholes and getting water for irrigation. So yes, you can do that in Malawi because there's plenty of water. We have our water table is what can I say? We got plenty of water under there. Pan African 101. Welcome, Pan African. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What about coal and the cutting down of trees? Is that a big yes? In Malawi, it's a big problem because the in terms of electricity, I think it's only 10% of the population, or maybe less than 5% of the population that have got electricity. So the rest of the people don't have electricity. So their source of energy for cooking is firewood. So people do cut trees and they make charcoal, and people are using the charcoal for cooking. The government is trying to control that, but it's difficult. I mean, if people cannot cook with electricity, then they have to cook with firewood. So even if you try to stop that, it's just it's a losing battle. So there is people who are coming with ideas of making briquettes for people to be using for cooking. But in Malawi, people when they get used to something, it's difficult for you to introduce something else, an alternative. People are very slow to embrace change. So many people don't want to buy the briquettes. They're still buying the charcoal. So there's a lot of smuggling of charcoal. So there's a lot of trees being cut. But the cutting of the trees has been reduced because of the coming of the cement blocks. Because before cement blocks, people were still cutting trees to burn the soil. I mean, when they're making the bricks, they had to burn the firewood. And then there was a lot of trees being cut for firewood to use for burning bricks. But now, since people are going into the cement blocks, that has reduced. The only problem we have now is people who are cutting trees for firewood and charcoal. What about coal and what type of farming do you do, and can you send food to people outside of your country? At the moment, our cash crop that we were using for export in Malawi was tobacco, but now a lot of countries have banned tobacco, so Malawi is not making a lot of money out of tobacco. So most of the tobacco farmers have turned into growing soya. So soya this year is going to be produced a lot in Malawi. And the soya goes to India, and that's what I understand. We have countries like India that buy soya, and I think China also buys soya from us. And then we also grow a lot of groundnuts, and there's lots of those groundnuts is going to Europe. It goes from Malawi through Kenya to go to Europe. And then we also sell cotton. We grow a lot of macadamia nuts. Yeah, so those are the kind of cash crops that we're using in Malawi. So we do grow food that crops that we are able to export. But most of the other farming is the maize, because maize is our staple food in Malawi. So plenty of people are growing maize for food, which is consumed locally. Yeah, so that's what we're growing. Um, Sheremy said Malawi is too dependent on coal, I believe. Yes, we're too dependent on coal. And so if people can be coming with ideas of making briquette machines, that would be great. I've made a few briquette machines that NGOs have bought from me before. But I've focused a lot on the construction industry, and I want to focus on the agriculture sector. Um, Zoe's Lane said, lack of capacity and too much mediocrity. I believe and agree that real and sustainable progress should start from the ground up in the village. Until then, outsourcing is an easy solution, sadly. Yeah, that's the problem. We have to start from the ground level to try to improve things. But many people, they want to start from the top. I believe that you should start from the bottom going up. But many people want to start from the top going down, which is actually the wrong way of doing things. I have argued with many people on social media because I always say, why do people want to solve problems from the top going down? You're supposed to start from the bottom going up. Yeah. Shawami says, that sounds good. Pan African says, do you have the team to build new construction? I would like to have a few villas built to start a family-owned resort in ecotourism. Yeah, for me, I don't think at the moment I will be able to manage to run my workshop and at the same time be able to run a project of construction. Construction is a very, in Malawi, I think it's a very involving industry. It requires you to be hands-on. You should be there. You can bend your fingers very easily. So you need to always be on, like hands-on to always be there. So for me to be able to split my time with the workshop and that, it will be difficult. When I came back from South Africa, I was in the construction industry. But I found that in the manufacturing sector, for me, it was much more easier for me, and I was even much more passionate in the manufacturing sector than it is in the construction sector. I am getting involved in the construction sector when just by making machines that will be used in the construction sector, but I'm not like contracting in the construction. I can do some contracting work. You can see I've built my house. You see what I'm doing with my landscape, but I'm not very passionate when it comes to that area. I'm more passionate in the manufacturing side. Um, but I can find you people who can help you. So when you are ready, please don't forget to WhatsApp me, and then I can see if I can talk to some people who can help you in that area. There's very good construction companies here. I know some people in construction who can help you. Yeah. What about tea crops? Yes, we also grow tea. We grow a lot of tea in Cholo. So Malawi produces one of the best teas in the world. Yeah, but it's only that we have been slugging somewhere along the line. But Malawi used to produce the best tea. How much does $1 value in Malawi? $1 is somewhere around 80 something, if not 90, between 85 to 90 kwacha. Zoe's line says, I sure would like a piece of land to farm and build on in one of the semi-rural areas. Yes, there is a lot of land. If you come, you can talk to the people and then you choose plenty of areas that you can choose. Like last time you talked about it, I said you can get your land by the lake. If you want to be inland, wherever you want to choose to go, there's a land that you can get to do your farming. Shell Army says, Pan African, that is the challenge with Malawi. Development is very slow. Yeah, we are very slow at we are very good at coming up with plans. If you're looking for anything, a document, a proposal to somebody to write a proposal for you, or you want people to come up with a document that can come up with solving problems and all those things, come to Malawi. There's good guys who can give you a very good document, who can write good proposals. But the only thing that Malawians lack is the implementation. We are able to plan, we are able to draw something on the paper, put everything, the plans and all those things, but to implement them, we can't implement. That's one of the weaknesses that we have. We need to start, implementing our ideas. We have plenty of ideas in the country, but let us implement them. We just can't implement them. So that's the only weakness that we have for our people. Time there, 2:47 in the afternoon, Central Time in Chicago. Here we are. It's quarter to 10. Somewhere it's quarter to 10. It's almost, let's say 10 to 10. Going to 20 to in Malawi. What area in Malawi for tea? Can you spell that area out? Okay, let me just write it out for you. The area where the tea is grown is called Choro. That's how we spell it. Just Google it, and then you will see. Or you can just Google which area is tea grown in Malawi. It will tell you that it is Choro. Yeah. Okay. Yes, compounding theory I am familiar with. Yes. All right. Jamal Green said, "Hi Ted. Alternatives to cement to build. Can we use ram earth or plastic rubber recycled to bricks?" Yes, you can use it in Malawi. You can do it if you want to, but for you to do it as a business, it's gonna be a very tough business to start, because you need to first educate the people to understand that you can build a house, use the ram earth, you can use plastic and rubber. But if you are building a personal house, there is no problem. There's been some NGOs that have been building houses using plastic bottles here in Malawi, but they never picked up because people here, they didn't like the idea. They didn't want to embrace the idea. Like somebody has just said, we are very slow at adapting to change. We take very long to embrace change. Yeah. Pro Woman says, big Chinese, Indian, or Arab foreign presence in Malawi. Yes, there is a lot of Indian people. We have a lot of Chinese, and we are seeing a lot of white people coming. We are seeing farmers from South Africa coming to Malawi to start farming. So we're seeing a lot of people coming here. Yeah, so there is plenty of them. Yeah, so this is what we were trying to discuss about the youth, and you can see the stuff that we've been discussing now, that there's plenty of opportunities in Malawi or in Africa. Now our youth, they need to start understanding that there is opportunities, and then they should start thinking outside the box and say, how can we be participating in the growth of Africa? What opportunities am I going to venture into? Is it in construction? Is it in agriculture? Is it in health sector? There's so many opportunities that we have here in Africa. Fatawari says, peace, Ayaman, peace. Yeah, so if it's the first time to watch us, please don't forget to subscribe. I need to be getting at least 45 subscribers a day for me to reach 6,000 subscribers this month. So today is the 14th. I was supposed to, by tomorrow, to have 5,500 subscribers. I am behind with about I think it's about 200 subscribers, because I'm on 5,300 something. So I'm behind with 200 subscribers. So today I need 100. Before tomorrow, I must have 100 subscribers. Tomorrow, then I can get another 100. Then I now know that I'm on the right track, because it's halfway the month I have to be half of the 1,000 subscribers. So that's how I'm splitting my goals, to reach the. I want to be getting 1,000 subscribers every month. That's the plan. So that's why I'm doing a lot of lives, because I see that the lives also they give us mileage. So they give us some subscribers, and thank you those who subscribed during our live sessions. I really appreciate. Um, Great information. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll be trying to be sharing different types of information so that our brothers and sisters who are in diaspora, they have the right information to start making a decision to say, I want to go back to Africa. This is what I'm going to do, because these are the opportunities that are available in Africa. These are the challenges. Now, every time when I'm sharing the things that we are lacking or the things that we are failing to achieve, you should be looking at saying, how can I go to Africa and be the solution to those problems? How can I go to Malawi and be taking part in the irrigation sector? Today, I went to send some of the wheelbarrows for a client at a courier company. When I was there, I found a guy, he was offloading solar panels, and it was a lot of panels, big panels, 400 watts. So we started talking, chatting. So he was saying, no, at his house, he doesn't use the grid, he's using solar and all those things. And then I told him, I said, I'm also busy working on solar. Then I said, by the way, what do you do? He said, no, I'm doing solar installations. But the guy is doing very well. I can say he's living a decent life just by looking at the vehicles here. There were two vehicles. One of them was offloading, and the other one it's a small van that he was driving. Well branded. You can see the guys. He says he's very, very busy because a lot of Malawians are making the decision of just installing solar for their homes. They don't want to worry about grid anymore. So there is a big, big, big business in the solar industry in Malawi. And I know a few guys who are in that. The guy who installed for my solar, I've got another guy, a friend who's also doing this solar installation. It's big, big business. Some of them, they're getting businesses to install solar in the banks, in the hospitals. There's some farmers here in Malawi who are going solar. So there's a lot of opportunities here. So you can if you are in that field of solar, you can now start thinking, let me go to Africa. If you come to Africa, I think any country you can go to with solar, you are going to do very well. Even in South Africa, because South Africa is also struggling for a lot of load shedding there. So if you go there and do a business there in solar industry, you will do very well. Irrigation. In Malawi, we only depend on the rains. So if you come here to introduce irrigation to the farmers here, you are going to do very well. There's big business in the irrigation sector. So yeah, lots of opportunities here. Okay, so if you have any questions, if you've got something to add, please feel free. And I really appreciate for you guys who are sending me messages on WhatsApp. And another subscriber asked me if I've got a WhatsApp group. I want to open a WhatsApp group where we can have our subscribers in and we can interact there. For those who want to get further information, she wants to come to Malawi. So yeah, for those who want to get more information, I'm going to open a WhatsApp group for the people for our subscribers. I've got a WhatsApp group called Entrepreneurs Hub, where we're sharing ideas with young people and people who want to start business in Africa or who are doing business in Africa. We got lots of members from South Africa and Malawi, Zimbabwe, and even up to Nigeria. I can share I can get the link for you. I'll share the link so that you'll be able to, if you can want. And also, I'm gonna have a group for the subscribers, WhatsApp, those who are wanting to get more information. And I also promised you guys that I was gonna talk to Kevin, but but it's being very difficult to get hold of Kevin. I think he must be very busy now at the moment. So yeah, I tried to call him, and he just said he was going to get back to me, but then he didn't get back. So I was still waiting for him. Yeah, so I'm going to share with you the link for the WhatsApp groups, one for the subscribers and one for the Entrepreneurs Hub. There are some subscribers who are also in that group already. There we're supposed to be sharing ideas about businesses, starting businesses or doing business here in Africa. So I can love it for those who are entrepreneurs who are watching me, if you can be joining that group, and so that you can share ideas with you. Yeah. So if you've got any questions that you would like to ask me, please feel free to ask so that I can answer. I see people are always asking questions about, what's going on in Malawi. They want to know more about Malawi. So yeah, feel free to ask, and then I can try to answer you. All right. Share the video in your groups. Yes, please share this. If you have got WhatsApp groups, please share a link to this so that the people can watch, and then they can also interact with us, and it will also help for us to grow this channel. We need to grow this platform, guys. Yeah, we need to get more subscribers, and then yeah, it becomes even more fun when you're doing these live sessions. We should be having 100 people, 500 people, even 1,000 people. So yeah, that would be great. Entrepreneurs Hub. Invitation. Okay, so I was trying to let me see. Okay, so I'm just trying to share a link. Yeah. Yeah, so that's a link. If you want to join that group, you can always just click on it. But I'm also going to make a group for the subscribers, and then you can join us there, and then we can be talking there. You should interview him. Who must I interview? But I don't know, maybe you're talking about Kevin. Yeah, I need to interview him. So I've been trying to get hold of him, but it hasn't been so easy. Pro Woman says government, market and customers, government, diaspora, other businesses, the middle class succeed first, then sell to the poor. Good strategy. Yes. Yeah, it's a good strategy. All right. Okay. Please don't forget to like. I see we have 31 likes. Please like. It is very important because it helps to share the videos. And you know what? Sometimes when I'm doing the live, I have something like 12 people, 13. But then afterwards, the people who are watching, they're coming to 700, sometimes 1,000 people, which shows that people, they like to watch what we're doing or discussing on live. The only thing is that we don't have many people because of the time differences. Like now, maybe some people are still at work, so when they come from work tonight, they're gonna sit and watch this live session. So please always try to also share the topics that you would like me to be discussing about, and then I can try to discuss about those topics. Yeah, so thank you very much for sitting here and watching me talking about our youth, and also talking about Africa. And I love to have these discussions. Um, Thank you very much. So, yeah, I will be having another session, a live session on Saturday evening. Yeah, so I will be sharing the topic of the session tomorrow. I'll be looking into my notes and see what we can be discussing about. But you can also be suggesting the topics that you would like me to be sharing. It's better that I am sharing with you the information that you want to get at the moment. Yeah. Thank you very much. So thank you very much. If it's your first time to subscribe, I mean to watch us, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Thank you very much.